All right, so we're recording. So guys, this is Melissa Cruz here with eXp Realty, and I am joined tonight by David and Trey. David is with Itrips, and we met a while back, and I haven't talked to him in a while, so I thought he'd be a really great resource for you guys in your business. I wanted him to kind of present with him and his company, you know, what they do and how they can benefit some of you and your customers. So David, thank you so much for joining tonight and doing this. I really appreciate it. And I know you brought Trey along, and I appreciate that as well. So take it away.
Well, thank you, Melissa. This is a great opportunity. We love talking to realtors because that is our that's our number one partner in our business, our real estate agents. And so we are very happy anytime to talk about the short-term rental business and how Itrips Vacations in St. Augustine, how we do our thing with the real estate market. So Trey has a slide deck that we'd like to kind of walk through and guide our conversation.
Sure.
So if you could share your screen with Trey or.
Let me see, share screen.
You just have to enable share screen or enable.
So multiple participants can share.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be it. Does that work?
That works.
All right, yay!
So it's a short deck. We slide decks aren't always fun, especially even on Zoom. So we're gonna make it short.
No worries.
Well, Itrips Vacations is we're a local business based here in St. Augustine. We are part of a international company, but we are a local franchise of that company. I bought the franchise almost 3 years ago. That's the territory, the St. Augustine territory, and it's some of the reasons I bought this are listed right here. St. Augustine is a tremendous vacation rental opportunity. There's over 4,000 properties right here in the greater St. Augustine area. So it's a very competitive arena. This market is growing significantly prior to COVID-19 in March 2020. This market had significant growth going on, as you can see. It's 17% quarterly growth in rental revenue, and it's ranked in one of the highest levels in this arena, ranked number 10 by Airbnb, and it's very strong and growing. And it's one that we think is just at the very beginning stages of being an even stronger and more vibrant market. And we saw during this whole COVID-19 experience, we saw our business just collapse with everybody else in late March and April and May, but we saw it roaring back very strongly. Starting in Memorial Day all the way through today, it has just been tremendously robust and has really almost recovered from that downtime we had. So it's a very strong market, and we're very excited about being part of the vacation rental market in St. Augustine. Trey, you can go to the next slide there. So what's the difference for Itrips Vacations from every other property management company in the area? And there are, in the US, there are 23,000 plus property management companies. So there are thousands of companies. And in St. Augustine, we have a large number of property management companies. But one thing we are not a real estate company. We are not in the real estate business. We don't compete with real estate agents, and we don't want to be in that space. We are purely short-term rental property management. We don't handle anything in the long-term business. We are licensed as short-term rental operators. That means that we only have the licensing to rent properties up to 6 months. And we don't do leases. We're all our business is in the short-term market. And we are a local business. Some of our competitors, some you may know of, the Itrips, the Turnkey, the Vacasa, some of these large corporate approaches to this business are, we're much different. We are a local business and we have local roots. I'm from this area. I spent most of my life in St. Johns County. Everybody who works with us is local, and so we were very deep in the community. So Itrips Vacations is a full-service property management company that's focused on short-term rental property management, and we married being connected with a national company that has a major marketing horsepower. We married that with a local operating business that is very entrenched in the community and provides really hands-on service. This gives you an idea of the market power of Itrips Vacations. When we list a property for one of our owners, we list it on our Itrips Vacations platform, and the Itrips technology interfaces that listing with over 80 sites, 80 different websites that present the property to millions of potential renters. So we have more market reach than anybody in the St. Augustine short-term rental space. So we're able to offer that to our owners, as well as the hands-on property management we provide by being right on site here in St. Augustine. So we are very much in the real estate community. We're part of the St. Johns County Board of Realtors, part of the Chamber of Commerce, part of being a local BNI and moneymakers here in St. Augustine, which is 90 local businesses that refer business to each other. And I've been in the St. Johns County area for over 20 years, so I am deep in this community. And every one of our employees are here, local employees. So we're not a corporate giant infiltrating St. Augustine. And we are very hands-on with our owners and our guests. We are in these properties all the time. And that's the key distinctive. Trey, myself, and the others that work with us, we are constantly in our properties. We inspect every property before our guest arrives. So we are very hands-on. We screen our guests to protect our owner's property. And we are very knowledgeable of this vacation rental market, local market here. And Trey, who joined me about a year ago, he came from a major convenience store operator here, Dailies. You may be familiar with Dailies. And for Dailies, he did all the marketing for Dailies. And so he has brought that marketing know-how and marketing skill set to the vacation rental business. And I'm going to let him take it from here. But he is our key market analysis guy and has done a great job to really understand this business and make sure we maximize the value for each of our owners.
Yeah, that's an important point in that all of our properties we treat as individual business units. So for each owner, we develop a pro forma, and then basically we track it like it has its own P&L. We determine the rates based on the market around it. We have different occupancy targets based on what time of year for each property, and we don't treat them all this as the same. We treat each one individually to maximize not only the revenue for that owner, but also the value that can be brought for that owner's investment or vacation home or second home, whichever one it is. One way we do that is we know the area as well or better than any of our competitors, and in many cases is well or better than the owners themselves. We look at we keep up with local government policies or ordinances, as you see on the left there in the zoning map. We help our owners target the right or investors the right zones or areas to purchase in, to invest in, and we advise them where not to invest in. And we've actually talked ourselves out of several opportunities to manage properties because an investor was looking at something in a zone that just wasn't going to do well for them. And that's the type of service we offer. We're not going to make promises that we can't, at least can't keep within reason. And we operate very transparently in that way. We're going to keep up with all the local activities like the festivals and things of that nature. Factor that into the way we manage rates, the way we manage occupancy, and how we advise the owners for those properties. And then also, as you see, when a hurricane is bearing down or some sort of event like that, we're here. We drive the streets of St. Augustine every day. We live here. So we're in and out of the properties, taking care of them, putting out sandbags, helping our owners who live all over the world. We have owners who live in China, different countries all over the place, and then we help them while they're away. One way we partner with realtors and real estate professionals is we offer a referral program, and essentially what that means is your client stays your client, so you don't have to wonder if some property management company out there is going to steal your client away from you for the next turn or next transaction because they're also in the business. We're not in the business. We offer advertising on our webpage and with our contacts and with our links and referrals. David and I were actually even today talking about some different investors that have come to us looking for properties. We see investors quite often. And talking about who do we need to send them to close that deal or those deals on buying investment properties in the St. Augustine market. We offer income projections, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. That really helps when you can show a potential buyer or seller what that property will do in the vacation rental market. And David and I spend a lot of time pulling those projections together. We don't just wing it. And I'll show you an example, one that's pretty simple, but there's a lot of information that goes into it. And then we pay 2% of the ongoing commission of the gross rental revenue. So what that means is if a property does $100,000 in gross rent in a year, the person the real estate agent who referred that property to us is going to get 2% of that $100,000 over the course of the year. We have an agent who has 4 properties with us, and every quarter he's getting about $1,000 check because of the 4 properties he referred to us. And then obviously that you have advertising opportunities, not just on our web portal and our page, but also in the property that's referred. So you can advertise your services in those referred properties. That's also a point that David had mentioned a few minutes ago. Is we're not afraid to manage a property that's on the rental or that's on the market to be sold. Right now we have one that just got a contract on it. We've worked closely with the realtors that we work with to help them sell their properties and to build revenue and value in those properties while they're on the market. Right now, the one that just got a contract on it, it has $13,000 in revenue sitting on the books over the next 3 months that will transfer over to that new owner because they're going to keep it on the short-term vacation rental market. So that's real value that comes to the owner of the property who's trying to sell. And then we work closely with the agents who are listing it, and then also the agents who are coming to do showings and things of that nature, to help them get in and out without hassle around the guests. This is an example of one of the pro formas that we give, and what goes into this is a lot of data. So we purchase 2 years of rental data from Airbnb and Vrbo. Airbnb and Vrbo make up about 65 to 70% of all of the rental activity within the vacation rental market in the St. Augustine area. So we can see 2 years worth of data from both Airbnb and Vrbo, occupancy data and rate data. And then what we do is we take that data, we compare it to the comps around that home or property. So in this case, it's a three bedroom house that sleeps 6, and we'll look within a reasonable geography around that 3-bedroom house. We'll look at all the comps, at what they're renting at, what their occupancy is. We'll look at the data for the last 2 years, and then we'll develop a pro forma based on what it should do in the rental market. And every time I send one of these out, I have to qualify it that David and I are very conservative on these. So this is a pro forma that we would expect to realistically happen in the first year of on the market as a vacation rental. We're not bullish in putting these together because ultimately we're the ones that have to perform. So I want to make sure that we set expectations realistically. And then from there, what we normally see after year really 1.5 is an upswing in profitability in each property that stays on that long, which most of them do. So this pro forma shows a gross revenue of 57,744. In year 2, 3, I would expect that number to go up as the property develops repeat guests, positive reviews, and visibility on the major sites. A couple examples of some of the work we've done. One Fletcher, this is a great 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, right in downtown off of Fletcher Lane, there off of Grove, and listed for sale in June 2018. Had very little interest while it was on the market there in June to December for about 6 months, had very little interest in showings. We listed it at the end of December of 2018. We saw 52% occupancy in those first 2 months on the market. Saw that revenue come in for February. It sold in March for only 8,000 below what the June 2018 asking price was. So it's still on the rental market today and doing fantastic. The person who bought it was an investor. She lives in Orlando and she comes and visits about every quarter, and is very happy with her purchase. And another one is, this one's a really interesting one. I like showing this one. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house on Shore Drive. If you know where Shore Drive is, you wouldn't think it's a vacation rental market, but it is actually, especially when it has a pool. So it's a 4-bedroom pool home. And if you see that really ugly fence behind it there in the picture, what's on the other side of that fence is a car lot. And so a house that doesn't show well for someone to move their family into it and live in, which is what the owner was having a hard time doing. People that were looking at it just didn't want to live off of US 1. They didn't want to back up to a car lot. And they were having a hard time getting interest in it. We listed it as a vacation rental. We saw 21 grand in gross revenue in the first few months on the market. Sold to an investor very quickly, and for 14,000 more than what their original asking price was the September prior. And we're still managing it today. This property, this 4-bedroom house here on Shore Drive, is going to eclipse 55 grand in rental revenue this year, and that's in a COVID year. So this house is an example of we need to think more broadly in the St. Augustine market being a top 10 market for vacation rentals, more broadly about what should be a vacation, what we should consider as a vacation rental and what we shouldn't. We've converted multiple long-term or houses that had long-term renters that the owner was using as a long-term rental into vacation rentals and have increased that owner's revenue as a result. As a matter of fact, the house across the street from this one on Shore Drive was a long-term rental. The owner had many issues with her renters. We took it over, we cleaned it up, we managed it well, we take care of it, and she's making more money today than she was as a long-term rental. One pushback on, just as a note on that, and is a lot of owners are concerned that short-term vacation rentals will be bad for their property and they're not taken well care of. We actually take very good care of the properties because it's in our best interest to do so. If a property doesn't have 5-star reviews and doesn't have great reviews from the guests, it's not going to produce well. It's not going to produce great revenue, which means we don't make much money on it. So we take very, very good care of the properties. AC units are serviced every month. We want to make sure, basically for our own self-preservation, that we don't get 2 a.m. calls. So we do everything we can to make sure everything is operating well and taken care of. So those are just a couple examples. David mentioned earlier, we have multiple properties that have sold in the last 3 months, and we're not afraid to help realtors do that. We like to do that, and we'll produce these pro formas for you as often as you ask. We try to get them out within 48 hours. In July, if you ask us in July, it might take a little longer than 48 hours, just because of how busy we are. But especially right now in this time frame, we can knock those out pretty quick. So from there, I think that's my last slide. If you have any questions about the market, about how we do pricing, about everything that goes into managing a vacation rental, or just in general, love to answer any questions you might have.
Cool. Let me see if I can stop share.
I think I can do that. There we go.
Good. All right. Did we lose everybody?
No, right here. Hey, Trey, this is Mike Bird. How are you doing? Hey, nice
I'm like, I lost everybody.
Yeah, nice last name, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not brothers?
And maybe in some distant mother. Yeah. Are you from North Carolina? You don't have to be from North Carolina, are you?
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, no, I grew up in North Carolina. But would you mind running me through a couple of scenarios just to make sure how, as a realtor, I fit in? And what I'm thinking is, I have find a property and maybe they can't sell it. It's like that scenario you described earlier where you bring it to you, maybe you kind of talk them into maybe making it a vacation rental or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or is it, working with an investor that wants to pick up a property and then bringing it to you guys to use as a vacation rental, something like that. So I'm just trying to figure out what the different scenarios are.
Yeah. So there's obviously multiple scenarios. If you have a property that's for sale, as long as it can be a vacation rental, there are a few restrictions, primarily in the St. Augustine Beach, within St. Augustine Beach city limits. But if it can be a vacation rental, then what we can do is we can provide you data, even if it's not already one, we can provide you data on what it would do as a vacation rental. And you can use that information to potential buyers who might be interested in investing in it, or they might be interested as a second home or a vacation home, and then listing it as a vacation rental to help pay for their investment or help pay for their vacation home. So that's one way. It doesn't require or mean that we're going to entice the owner to turn it into a vacation rental so much as we provide you information and data to help you sell it. And another way is if you have one that's just languishing, and right now my guess is there aren't many properties languishing on the market, but if there happens to be one, that is one way. And actually we have one downtown, the one that has a contract on it right now, was for sale for some time. just kind of languishing. The owner wanted a little bit more than I think it was probably worth. But we started listing as vacation rental, built some revenue into it, and now an investor's bought it. We actually helped him sell the property because we built some value into it as a vacation rental. So that's another way to do it. A lot of realtors come to us because they have buyers or investors who are interested, and then we help them with pro formas and information on potential properties they're looking at. In fact, the owner that lives in China, David, worked with him directly, and David is actually of the two of us, David is the more qualified to answer any investment questions, as he's an investor himself. He worked directly with that owner, with that buyer, and really kind of traveled around the market and fed him information from here to China, and helped him find what ended up being a great investment for him. And we work with a lot of realtors in that, where we will feed that realtor information because they have an investor who's looking for a property.
So outside the St. Augustine Beach area, you guys don't handle like the Jacksonville beaches area, like Atlantic Beach?
We don't.
Okay.
There's another iTrip franchisee that owns that territory, and that's what David was talking about earlier. Is we really do marry the kind of the best of both worlds. We are hyper local, so we stop at North Beach. We can bleed into Ponte Vedra, but we really don't. We stop at North Beach on the north end, and Matanzas at the south end, and that's the area that we are focused on. But at the same time, because we are tied to iTrip as a franchise, we have all of the software capability and marketing capability that comes with being